Okay, we're live.
Definitely right around.
Sure.
Yeah.
Hello SEO for Startups. Welcome to this week's video. Kieran's doing the camera duties this week.
Yeah, Andy would like to apologise for last week for the fact that you were basically facing a windowsill for the first 15 minutes.
Yeah, I do apologise for that. It didn't help my technical ability, did it? In your
No,
eyes at all?
no. If anything, you've got worse, which I actually didn't think was physically possible.
It brought some life to the video though.
Yeah, they didn't get to look at this.
You were really bored in the first minute anyway, so no one wanted to see you.
Well, there you go, we saved you. Actually, we did you a favour.
You did you a favour.
Awesome, so this week we're going to do another Ask Me Anything because it worked quite well last week.
Yeah, it's a nice little change, right?
Yeah, definitely so. And it's quite good putting back on the questions that you guys have specifically instead of us just kind of picking up files that are on the website.
And they're tough questions this week.
Yeah.
They're like really deep and meaningful questions.
Yeah, and some don't have a
almost like
answer.
SEO existential at one point.
Yes, definitely so.
It's really hard.
But
cheers, Chris Green.
But we'll try our best to answer anyway. But no, thank you for the questions. Again, as always, if you've got any more questions, chuck them in the comments of this video. And also, ask away on the group if you've ever got any questions going forward as well.
Yep, and we'll try and, I don't know, at some point, cut these up and put them on our website so they're easily accessible. Because you don't want to listen to us for 12 minutes every week, do you?
Exactly.
Nope. Nobody
does. Awesome. So, shall we start with the first one?
Yep, I'll ask the question and then...
Okay, we're going to do it like last one.
Yeah, I think so. So this is from Chris Green.
Yep.
Let me put that on mute. It's from Chris Green, and he's asked, is there ever a right time to stop SEO? If not stop it altogether, can you ever tone down the time you give it?
So firstly, thank you, Chris Green, for the nice and simple question.
Okay.
So yeah, it's a tough question, mainly due to the fact that there's no definitive answer. We would recommend that, overall, we'd recommend that you don't kind of stop doing SEO altogether. But there's a couple of reasons for that. A lot of the SEO work that you do is front-loaded. So the foundation from any campaign, and we've mentioned it quite a lot through the bits that we've done on the group itself, is ensuring that your on-site optimization is perfect. So, or as close to perfect as possible. Yeah, building out your SEO strategy, making sure you know which keywords you want, making sure they're the right keywords, making sure they're then optimized correctly on the website. And then you kind of move on to the creative pieces like your content writing, your link building, that sort of stuff. So a lot of it's kind of front loaded, but it doesn't mean that 6 months down the line you can kind of just stop doing anything because your on-site work's sorted. A couple of reasons for that: Google updates its algorithm all the time just to keep you on your toes. Mm-hmm. Your customers sometimes change as well. So if your customers were searching a specific term before, they may not be searching it now.
Yeah. So that works in two ways. You could have released new products,
exactly.
New services. You could have changed what you're doing, but also the behaviour in which your customer search is changing, right? And the keywords are your bread and butter.
Yeah.
So you know, if SEO is important to you, and I'm guessing it is because you started it, so you see that the return on it, the return you can get is massive because this many people are searching for this keyword. You know, if we can rank at the top there, we're going to generate this much. And that's always there. So if that's important for you, then you're always going to want to attain that because you know there's the opportunity there.
Yeah.
And you want to be updating and making sure that you're doing the right things. Like Kieran said, you can tone down the activities you do after you've set up your kind of foundations. But if it's important to you to get at the top of Google, then you need to be constantly creating content. You can slow it down, for sure. You can do it in spits and spurts.
Yeah.
But if it's important to you, you want to be creating content. You want to be making sure that... I guess there's another good point as well. The activities that you do for SEO now are so closely aligned with kind of digital PR anyway, that you'll want to be doing that sort of stuff for the benefit of your business, Link building is no different to digital PR, to getting your brand out there on other websites, So you can't just stop SEO because then you'd be stopping all these other activities. They're very, very closely related. So if you're doing those other activities, make sure that you're always thinking about SEO because you do need to tweak some of them slightly as well.
One thing to note is that if you do totally stop doing SEO for whatever reason, maybe you've totally run out of time, you've got to put it off for a month or two, you're not going to lose everything that you've done before. It's not like PPC, Google ads, Facebook ads, that sort of stuff where you switch it off and it stops and you're not showing it all. The work that you've done will stay there. But what that does mean as well on the flip side is that if you stop doing it, it doesn't mean that your competition are going to stop doing it. Obviously, you're competing as much as possible to try and get onto the first page of Google, trying to get to the top of Google. you're competing against other people that are also doing the same. If you stop, that then gives them the upper hand.
They're going to grow.
Exactly.
They're going to grow quicker than you because they're going to get those customers.
Yeah, so if you stop it and you think the website's falling off because you're now not doing it, it doesn't mean that you're kind of losing the authority that you gained. It just means that your competition are overtaking you, essentially.
Yeah. Right, we're rambling.
Yes, we are. So, right, second question.
The second question this is from David Boy. Apologies if I pronounced that incorrectly.
I'll shoot the question, mate.
Oh yeah, sorry, yeah.
I totally lost the format, mate.
I've got giddy.
Understanding that there is a spectrum of methods possible to improve SEO, what is the one method or algorithm that would generate the most return? For example, SEO ranking. For example.
That's why I should write out. That's why I should bring out the question.
For example, yes, using keywords, the H1 tag improves SEO, but are they as good as getting a backlink or labeling your images with the actual keywords and so on?
Okay, so there's a couple of ways to answer this question. One, yes, certain actions will have quicker wins or be weighted differently by Google. But then also, no. Google's algorithm is really complex, right? So if we go back 10 years or however long when Google started, the algorithm was really, really simple. So you can add a keyword in this one element, not do anything else, and you'd rank for that keyword. So we'd call it a variable, right? Adding a keyword there, doing this other action with different variables. You could change one variable in isolation, and it would really impact your SEO.
Yeah.
Google's moved away from that. It's become a lot more holistic. It looks at so many different factors within its algorithm. So many things are judging whether a website should go to the top, right?
Yeah.
So if you just do one thing, you can't go, I'm going to do this one thing, and Andy told me to do that, and because I'm doing that one thing in isolation, I'm going to go up. You need to look at the whole picture. You can't just change your page title without now changing your content on your page to match that, because Google, since it released its Hummingbird update, can understand content so much better, so it needs to see a correlation, a relationship between those two elements. But saying that, there are things that, adding image alts across your website isn't going to have as much impact as choosing a really good keyword and putting it in your page title in your H1. So, I know David, you use Hike for example, follow the kind of priority listings that we do on there, they're from our experience and from other SEOs' experience, that you can read online of the actions that will make the most amount of impact, but do everything as well. So do the high priority stuff, but then do the medium, because they all impact Google's algorithm. They will all help you. Yes and no. I hope that helps.
Great answer.
Thank you. All right, I'm reading this enough.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is a question from Jerome. What are the best possible ways you recommend to build backlinks for specific pages to move them up the rankings? I read stuff about PBNs and buying links, so PBNs are private blog networks, but it seems tricking the system, so I'm wondering whether Google won't penalise these things.
No, that is a good question, and there's a lot of kind of to and fro within the SEO industry as to whether PBNs are a good thing, whether they're a bad thing.
Do you want to explain what they are quickly?
So essentially it's just a network of websites that essentially one person owns.
Yep.
And what they tend to do is they'll own, say, 100, 200 websites, all blog sites, different niches, and they will use them essentially to point links back to the people that buy links from them or to their own websites. So they're a great way of getting loads of links really quick, but normally the quality of the sites, if you have one person that's working on their very own blog, they're talking about travelling and all the rest of it, they're going to probably be putting a lot more time into that blog itself than someone that's running a network of 200 sites.
Yeah.
So the quality of the content, the quality of the actual site itself is a lot better, probably ranks better in Google on a standard blog rather than on like a PBN.
Yep.
And buying links as well. So Google ages and ages ago basically said don't buy links, never buy links.
It used to be a big practice in this, yeah.
Yeah, and I'd say it still is to some extent. Like, there's a lot of people that do it. There are proper
different though, isn't it? Now?
Yeah, so there are agencies that will allow you to purchase time from them for them to essentially find links for your website. So there are specific link building agencies.
Yeah, which is almost like you're outsourcing your link building, right? So they're not paying for the links. You're essentially, it's like outsourcing to a freelancer. Yeah. Instead of employing someone internally to reach out to blog owners day in, day out and get your link live, you're essentially using their time as link building agency. So it's not so much link buying, but you're paying for someone's time to help you get links.
Yeah, exactly. But they do tend to charge on a per link basis.
It's just easier. I think it's easier to cost.
Exactly. So link building itself, from an SEO point of view, it does still impact. It's still one of the biggest kind of ranking factors for a website, having links pointing to your site. So if you do need to use a link building service, or you do want to pay to buy links, I would say tread carefully. There's a lot. If something's really cheap, if there's a link that's really cheap to buy, there's a reason it's really cheap. I would look at the website itself. There's a couple of things that we normally check if we're looking to kind of build links on external sites. Make sure it's actually readable. Have a look at it. Would you actually read that blog? And see if there's any engagement, social shares, comments on the blog itself. And also obviously look at things like authority of the site as well, I think, as a and afterwards. But yeah, so do still build links, but yeah, it's I think there's other stuff that you can focus on that will gain.
Yeah, so this leads into the next question, which is a little bit, there you go, so Seb asked this one.
How to think about importance of quality versus quantity. Most literature seems to say go for quality, but is there a role to play for quantity of low quality links, or is that a waste of time?
So yeah, that's a really good question. So link building, if you've ever read anything, people will say, don't, or you might have seen like memes or people mentioning, don't get 100 crappy links, get one brilliant link, right? And the question being asked here is it worth having, should you only focus your time on just getting those couple of really great links and you're ignoring some of the lower quality links? So really what Google's looking for when it's ranking the websites, it's looking for a good variation of both. It's looking for a natural backlink profile, right? So what would naturally be built? So look at the Hike website. So we launched Hike website probably a couple of months ago. We've not done any active link building yet, but we've got a good variation of links pointing to our website already. And these differ in quality naturally. So we have some directories that mention us, which aren't the best quality, and I wouldn't have spent my time building those. And then we've got some review sites that review the Hike platform. Some of those are better quality than others, but that's very, very natural for that to happen. And there's certain websites that are going to link to you, some aren't. So there is a case for making sure you've got a variety of both. But you should notice that if you're getting yourself out there, your product, your brand, you're doing social media, you're doing PR, you're going to get a natural variation of those lower quality links, which is going to look very natural to Google, which means that you can then focus your SEO specific link building time on those really difficult, highly authoritative websites. So I would say that yes, you need both, but focus your time on the highly authoritative ones, and those lower quality links are going to come through naturally.
Yeah, exactly. No, 100%.
Cool, 100%, that's good.
Nice.
Can't get any higher than that.
101. Next question.
Final one, right?
Yeah.
Cool. So, another one from David. Is it considered over-optimizing if you optimize for terms that are considered synonymous? So, for example, if you optimize for car, vehicle, and automotive. So, when I search a car in Google, the other variations are highlighted in bold. So that means that Google sees car, vehicle, automotive as very similar. Does he need to optimize for those ones actively?
Not actively. So essentially,
I gave you the answer there, didn't I?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
you led you into
it. So yeah, not actively. So optimize for the main phrase in this case would be car.
I think it would be car.
Well, yeah, from the way that it was worded. So optimize for car in your kind of title, your headings, that sort of thing, as we've discussed before. But make sure that you mention other terms that Google feel are kind of synonymous with it.
Yep.
In the actual content itself. So talk about vehicle, talk about automotive. It helps to kind of make Google let Google know that you know what you're talking about within this kind of niche, within this topic. As you mentioned, it was other terms that are shown within the Google search results. So if you search for car in Google, you will see these other terms bold. I think we've mentioned on a previous video as well.
Yep.
You'll see these other terms in bold. They're other terms that Google kind of links with that main search phrase that you're using. So if you're wondering what other kind of words to use within the content on the actual page itself, do a search for your main keyword, have a look at what else is in bold, and make sure you just include them within the content of the page. But don't worry about trying to get them into the heading, into the H1, into the title, and that sort of thing.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Those terms Google sees as synonymous. So if it looks at your site and you haven't mentioned those terms, it's going to think these guys don't really know what they're talking about, or they're over-optimizing, they're trying too hard at SEO.
So focus on that one keyword. That
Yeah,
car
exactly. You mentioned car instead of vehicle, where vehicle would have fit more naturally.
Exactly.
Then it's going to go, well, they're trying too hard. So mention vehicle, mention the synonyms within your content, make it look natural, but within your SEO elements, as Kira said, focus on the main phrase that you want to do.
Exactly.
You know, the car variation, for example.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it, right?
Awesome. I think that was a 110% answer.
Oh, 110, yes.
Yeah.
Get in. So, yeah.
Back next week for
Back next week.
either another AMA or an audit video as before, or we might try something different.
Yeah. Also, we're going to get... that's someone at the door.
Hello, is anyone expecting a parcel from Amazon?
Sorry.
So the
Yeah, we're
street's
just
going to end up.
It looks like